Absolutely. That's actually a really good angle to come from, because a common misconception from a lot of people is that blockchain is this space age super techie thing that only has relevance to technology projects. But in actuality, blockchain could almost have the most potential to revolutionize things in more traditional industries. If you want to break it down to its most simplistic level, blockchain is an immutable, fully transparent ledger, and it can be applied to absolutely anything. So when you look at it in terms of any industry that has a lot of record keeping, a giant paper trail, a lot of inefficiencies, a lot of opportunities for manipulation of information through those cycles, it has a lot of power. So if I was to pull an example out there, if we can think the property market. So when you purchase a property and it goes onto that property register, you have someone putting that documentation together, storing that in a database, and then that documentation is periodically updated from time to time when things change in a property, such as renovations, such as change of ownership. But what you've got there is you've got a system that if that database is accessible, someone could potentially come in and change aspects to change, hey, this renovation was or wasn't made, it had this many owners, you might drop an owner off the list, and those are all possibilities. And the implementation of blockchain in that scenario means that from the point of inception through to the end date, what you have is a fully publicly accessible ledger of every single thing that happened to that piece of information or that property in this situation. That really not only removes the paper trail that's susceptible to changes or manipulations that may or may not be in certain parties' interests, but it's just an immutable source of truth. If we were to pull that into another example, such as shipping and logistics, another industry where there's ginormous paper trails in terms of what's happening with products, where they're moving from, what went into the production of that product, there's a lot of benefit that can be brought. Obviously, we're talking here benefit to the legitimate parties, not the parties that are trying to manipulate and exploit the chain. Leveraging that technology kind of creates a much more trusted and transparent system of accountability, particularly when we start looking at global trade and really, really large operations. Another example is one we're currently working on with a few companies based both in New Zealand and overseas in relation to tracking products from source to end customer. So we're collaborating with a party to build a solution that will enable a customer to walk into a shop, find a product, scan that product, and find out exactly every point and every input that went into the delivery of that product right throughout the chain. So you can pick up that product and go, it came from this farm in this country, it was brought in this form of transport, it arrived here at this date, it came to the store, and I know 100% in terms of all the inputs, hey, this is where this came from. And there's a lot of issue around that at the moment in the global market. There's scandals around products being manipulated before they're being delivered and not having the right quantities of certain aspects within these products. So it's, I've touched on quite a number of topics here, but really what it brings is the removal of a lot of factors that are both inefficient and potentially negative or offer opportunities for manipulation or exploitation, not for everyone's benefit. And it really does cover a lot of use cases, and I think these are going to be the big, most valuable ones that you start seeing coming out over the next few years as blockchain becomes more mainstream.